Welcome back, listeners. Today we're diving into the intriguing and somewhat precarious situation in the UK, and we'll also touch on the happenings in Germany, particularly with Alice Vdal of the AfD. She recently had a Twitter space with none other than Elon Musk, and she's been making waves, to say the least. Now let's kick things off with the UK. There's a report from Drummer suggesting that the UK is poised to become an AI powerhouse, banking everything on AI for economic growth. But honestly, that doesn't sound like a solid plan to me. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that does sound a bit risky. I mean, what if AI doesn't pan out the way they expect? It's like relying solely on a single stock to fund your retirement, isn't it? What if that stock crashes?
Exactly. And to add to the mix, we're hearing reports of gas shortages. It's a hot topic right now, especially since it was previously claimed that Russian gas transiting via Ukraine wouldn't affect the UK. But here we are, and it seems like it's all coming to a head. It's like a storm brewing on the horizon.
Right, so, what's the government doing about it? Are they just like sitting on their hands? I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Well, you're absolutely right to highlight that concern. The situation in Britain is quite alarming. The government has presented a budget that seems to be merely ticking boxes to please certain groups. They're raising taxes and borrowing more without really explaining the budget deficit. It's like they're trying to put a band-aid on a gaping wound, you know?
Oh wow, that's a vivid image. So, what's the impact of all this on the average person? Are they feeling the pinch?
One major issue is the billions being sent to Ukraine, which is significantly impacting public funding in Britain. Meanwhile, the government is looking to increase defense spending without addressing the current state of the military, which is facing a crisis due to a lack of weapons. It's like trying to build a house without the right tools, just not going to work.
That's a bit concerning. And, I've heard that Britain doesn't have large underground gas reserves like Germany. So what happens if there's a cold winter? Are we talking about a real crisis here?
Exactly. Britain relies on gas being supplied as needed, and with a cold winter and interruptions in gas supplies, we're seeing a rapid decline in gas reserves across Europe. It's making it increasingly difficult for the UK to import gas. There's even talk of blackouts, but there's no real plan to address these shortages. It's like waiting for a train that's never going to arrive.
Blackouts? That sounds, really serious. So, are they just ignoring the underlying issues? It's like they're hoping it will all just magically fix itself.
Yes, they are. The overspending on Ukraine and the energy crisis are not being openly discussed. In contrast, Alice Vdal in Germany is addressing these issues head-on. She's talking about the need to reopen the Nord Stream pipeline and the impact of the gas trade disruption on Germany's economy. It's a stark contrast.
Ooh, that's interesting. So, is the political landscape in Germany changing because of this? I mean, it sounds like they're actually having a conversation about it.
Absolutely. There's a public debate emerging about the real causes of the crisis, which is quite different from the situation in Britain, where the discussion is more muted. In summary, Britain is facing significant challenges with an unpopular government presiding over a recession, while Germany is beginning to openly discuss its economic issues and potential solutions. It's like night and day.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. It's like, watching a slow-motion train wreck, isn't it? You can't help but stare.
Exactly. It's a fascinating yet troubling time for both countries. The way they're handling these crises could shape their futures in ways we can't even imagine right now.
I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. It's like a political thriller, but, with real-life consequences. What a time to be alive.